Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter, and you're listening to the Third Fleet Podcast. This is episode 68, just 1 week away from a nice episode and 2 weeks away from the release of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. And of course, we have to do one this week because we had, obviously, the Capcom Showcase with a bunch of new info, new trailer and everything, and we got the demo. So you will notice that we did some gameplay videos both on Ruri's channel and my own. Not sure of the order in which they'll be uploaded, but they should be around the same time, so I hope you look forward to them. But Rurikhan, you're here. It's you're a busy boy. How you staying awake? How you doing?
I'm staying awake through migraines. It's fantastic. I highly do not recommend it to anybody. I woke up at like 3:40 today, and my head was murdering me. And then I woke up again at 5 with my head murdering me again. It was fantastic. Yeah, I've been struggling with migraines. Dude, listen, yesterday, like when I was recording my recap video, I actually had like, there's this thing called binaural beats. You'd have to do research to figure out how that works. But this guy had a video playing binaural beats that would hopefully calibrate my brain in a way that it would stop me from having migraines while I was recording the video. That's how bad it's been for me recently.
Yeah, when you get those types of migraines, it doesn't matter what you do, like water, stretching, ibuprofen, like nothing's gonna work. Like it's like you're reaping the result of your bodily abuse, of not sleeping and playing too hard, working too hard.
But I had an amazing stream during the event of the Capcom Showcase. Community extremely supportive. Like people were super awesome, and on top of it, I was like coughing and wheezing through it, which I'm really sorry because like I've been sick, but it's like I'm sick, but there's no way I'm gonna miss the Capcom Showcase. And in my opinion, Capcom had the best, because like, you know that this has been the week where you got Summer Game Fest, Xbox Showcase. You didn't know this?
No, I knew. I'm I'm giving you weird eyes because our internet has been acting up, and you sound like an Omnicron for a second there. So
yeah, but this was the week that all of those things had been happening, and I felt like Capcom had the best one because there was no padding whatsoever in their event. It's like boom, boom, deliver, and it's like, okay, we delivered the goods, now bye. There was just one
blemish. Blemish.
There was one thing which I've called the blue balls dogma.
Yeah, it is. That was, but at least it's not like we don't have something to look for. Now, if they do not deliver on the actual thing, oh my God, I will get in the street and I can't say that word because people take that word seriously. We don't
There's
do the R word.
No way that like in
we voice our displeasure.
On Thursday. There's no way that on Thursday they don't straight up reveal. If they don't do it, like they realize that's the biggest mistake they could have done. Because not only they didn't announce it at their showcase, they teased it, and then on top of it, they're like, we're making just one special event for Dragon's Dogma.
And they got Espinas on there,
and it's like, dude, come on! If they don't announce it on Thursday, that is going to be so bad on them, dude. That is terrible.
I would say that in a logical world, there's 0% chance that they're not announcing that it's in development. Yeah. I don't think they'll show us it. I don't think they would just say now in development, keep it really vague, because I imagine the next Monster Hunter would probably be the next big boy in line. But you got the Street Fighter, then you got probably Monster Hunter 6, and then
they also have another game, dude, that they're working on, the Exoprimal thing. I actually am curious about checking that out. It's like a mix of Anthem, Warframe, and it's weird. And it's not just like PvE; it's got PvP elements to it as well. It's weird. I want to check that out. I want to see what it's like. But they have a good show, and even the Resident Evil stuff that they showed, which I'm not a big Resident Evil fan. I was like, dude, this looks like good stuff. I think people will enjoy it. So
that PvP thing they got, the mercenaries, you can play as Lady D now.
Of course,
should be nice. Of course.
I was just like, you can play as the Step on Me lady now.
Yeah, but where are the daughters? That's what
I think you can play with them as well. I'm not sure, but
wow.
I think there'll be an option as well. But we'll see.
I want to bite people with them. Yeah.
Yeah. But before we did the podcast, guys, we played the demo so that we had some ideas. And I told you guys I wasn't going to be playing Malzeno. Gaijin twisted my arm and he said, no, you have to play Malzeno. We have to see Malzeno, have to see Astalos. And I was like, fine, we'll do it. We played it like twice. And that was about it. So
that's it.
So it's like, It's our impressions of the whole thing, but I think we should get started by like all of the things that were announced, and then we'll talk about impressions of the demo.
Do you have a master list? Because there's so much.
I have a master list. Of course I do.
Finally, marketing has started for Sunbreak. I'm so happy. And there's only 2 weeks to go.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it's actually kind of like a good thing, but not. Because again, they haven't revealed as many monsters. Which the thing is, they're also saying in their marketing material, we're going to be revealing more monsters. Stay tuned. And I was like, no, don't stop. Not more, no more. This is it. You've released the demo, and the demo release I felt was at the perfect time as well, because like it's 2 weeks. You remember last time you and me we spent over 100 hours in that demo analyzing anything and everything. This time I'm not doing that. I'm going to be like playing just a little bit of the demo on a stream, maybe 2 streams or something like that, and that's it. I'm not touching the demo anymore.
I might play the demo one more time, and that's it, because I want to save it for the real thing,
deal.
So to say.
That's the way to go.
Especially
about it.
Because like they're going to have fine tunes and fixes and balancing and all sorts of weird little tweaks in the actual version of the game. So I'm not going to lose sleep over trying to overanalyze it.
Yeah, but
plus there's like no limit. People can just go play and try it if they want.
Yeah, you can just play it, no limit, no nothing. So yeah, it'll be fun. But let's talk about all the things they announced then. So first things first. Returning map, which they played it pretty close to the chest. The only map we knew about was Citadel. They did say locales plural, and then they're like, okay, here you go, jungle. Now, personally, I would have preferred Deserted Island. I've said this multiple times. I think Deserted Island would have been
Wait, now knowing that they're not going to add laggy, though, would you want Deserted Island, or would it just make it hurt worse?
No, I'd still want Deserted Island, yes. It's like I just have so much nostalgia for that map. Even if Loggy's not coming, I'm just like, whatever. Just give me the map.
They're saving that for Monster Hunter 6, man. They're saving it.
I mean, which is going to bring underwater combat and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe
we're just going to go off on a boat with people that we randomly met in the open world, and we're going to go, oh, look, that's Moga Village, and we're just going to go depart on a quest. It's going to be great.
I mean, I hope we travel through villages in the next Monster Hunter, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it would be cool.
But the map adaptation, very much like we had for the Sandy Plains, which was a really good map adaptation, I felt like. The jungle is looking pretty good. We just messed around a little bit in it earlier. That's about as much experience we have. We didn't even go to the little island up on the north part. We didn't even do that. Which, if you watch the trailer, it's got like a hole that you can dive into. It's got like an arena type thing below it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they show that in the trailer, but it's just like a quick little snippet. It's like, they go in there. I need to go there actually in the demo now that the demo is out. It's just the demo came out at 3 a.m. my time, so I was like, no, I can't do that. That's wild. Yeah. But yeah, the jungle map returning, I think that's great because obviously we wanted more maps than just the Citadel. Just one map feels a little bit short, even though that's been the case. Like for people that don't know, before Iceborne, which Iceborne was also basically one map, right? It's one map, and then there's the Safi Jiva.
It's a super map. One super map, I would call it.
The super map, and then the Safi Jiva Arena. Like that was the Iceborne one, and before that, it was like the Ruined Pinnacle or whatever for Generations. It was always one map for G rank. That's it. And then you just replay the older maps with new monsters, stuff like that. So this time we're already getting 2 maps, and they already announced the third, which I don't even know what that map is, which is the Forlorn Arena. We'll talk about that later. But
what do you mean you don't know what that is?
Have I been there? Like people have told me that I've been there if I've done a certain quest in GU, which I think I did. So maybe I've been there. I don't remember what the Forlorn Arena is, to be real.
Okay, at least we'll get to that later.
Because like we do have like certain arena type maps in GU that I remember, but I don't remember the Forlorn specifically. Particularly because it's just showing those ruins and stuff. So I don't know about that. But either way, how'd you feel about the jungle?
Jungle's great. I mean, I think we both agreed that the I don't even know the name. That's how unforgettable it was. The map with Juratotis. What the heck is it called? The pyramid map
with Juratotis. Oh, Flooded Forest.
Yeah, the Flooded Forest doesn't feel like a foresty map, right? It feels like a swamp.
Yes, very much so.
I like that we're getting sort of like a forest, but it's more like a tropical forest. You got the beaches, you got the islands, and I didn't see yet in the demo annoying crabs coming out of the sand, which is nice. But that's like a second generation thing. That was gone even in third. But no, that map I've always had mixed feelings about because I love the atmosphere of it, but I never liked how it was segregated. Like each of the maps, it felt like it was way too big. Like, it was one of these old, like, second-gen maps to me. Like, to run from one end to the other takes, like, 3 minutes. It's, like, ridiculously big. So I was very pleased in the demo.
I think it was...
Just a little bit that we touched. It seems like it's almost feels smaller and easier to access than any of the maps we've seen up till now.
Excuse me. I think the problem with it back in second generation was the way that the areas were connected. So, like, for instance, you'd be in a spot, and then the monster would jump one spot, like, say, northeast of where you were, and then in order to get to that spot, you'd have to travel through like 4 areas or something, and it's like, that's not going to happen on this one because you got wire bugs and stuff, so it's going to be a little bit. But
I got a lot of good memories of that map with, like, Rajangs and Shaladaoras and all those good memories of fighting those guys, and then Kangalalas. Come on, they got to reveal the Kangalala soon.
And from what I've seen so far in the demo, it looks like that thing's got hell of verticality to it. So it's a small map, but it's incredibly, like, vertical, and it's got so many layers in between it. Of course, you're not going to be fighting on all those places, but there's still a lot of, like, navigational things for you to do in that map, I feel like, which is a really good thing. In the trailer, they also the armors that people were using at the start. I only took note of the armors they were using at the start because then they kind of start swapping. But they were using the 3 Lord armors, so Garangol, Malzeno, and Lunagaron, and some kind of a guild set, which I don't know exactly which one it is, but it's got like the guild weapons and stuff like that. So yeah, those were the sets that were being used when they showcased the jungle map. Jungle map, which, by the way, I was going to say, because this is mentioned in the trailer, it's available in the demo, but we just talked about it a million times. Sorry, my head's not screwed on right. But yeah, then we had what is one of the huge moments of the presentation, I felt like, which is Espinas from Frontier coming over to Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. And here's an interesting thing. So Espinas, even though it means thorns, like they said, it also means fishbone in Spanish. So I was the other day I even thought about taking a picture of like a couple of fish bones that we had just eaten some sardines, and I was like, I should make a picture of this and go like, we have Espinas at home. Espinas at home. It's just like fish bones. But yeah, I don't know anything about this, but there's some footage in the trailer of him just like trying to fall asleep, like snuggling on his nest, and people, of course, the longsword users just wailing him on the head. It's like, what is wrong? This little monster's just trying to have a good time, and in comes the longsword user. For starters, attacking the wrong spot because he's hitting the head, and on top of it, waking up this poor little monster just trying to snuggle in his nest. Like, there's just something fundamentally wrong with longsword users. That's what I got out of that trailer.
Oh man,
the memes never die. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, Espinas is what, like the 3rd or 4th Frontier monster to make it into the main series, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that the other one is Lavasioth, but
Hypnotize and Lavasioth.
Yeah,
and I think there's one more, but I could be wrong. But
I think he's either 3rd or 4th. I think I seen a post from either Kogath or Bandino where they show 4 monsters, and they're saying, "Oh, Espinas, welcome to the roster," and one of the monsters is Espinas. So I'm assuming there's 3 more, but I can only think of Lavasioth, and you said Hypnocatrice, so that as well. I don't know which one's the other one.
But this is not just like bringing a monster over. This is like their flagship. This is poster boy for Frontier. He's like 14 years old. He was in Monster Hunter 2.0 Season 2. He's been like kind of like the face monster of that game for a very long time. So I imagine anybody who may have played Frontier are probably ecstatic. And we've had the question like, what happened to the Frontier staff once they shut down the game? This makes me a little hopeful that maybe they found a place working on these games. Maybe they've got some Frontier people on their team, which would be nice because it kind of sucks that the game was closed down, even though I didn't play it. It was a long-going game. So having like the poster boy for that opens the door, I think, to more, because there's some really crazy monsters in that series. We should probably do a cast where we invite Ceph on, Cephadrome. He knows a lot about Frontier. He's the one who made all the switch axes, like the 1,000 of them, hoping to get the
You mean Cephorend? When you said Cephadrome, I was like, Cephadrome?
Sorry,
what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, must not be Cephorend, must be somebody else.
Yeah, Cephorend, sorry. Yeah, we should get him on and talk about Frontier someday, but like Frontier's got a huge roster of really interesting monsters that I think would be cool if they said, hey, we're going to have a more like crazy action focus, which is what Frontier became, right? Like, It's crazy.
So
if they run with this, if it works, like maybe we can get another game with a bunch of those monsters.
I don't think you should get another game with a bunch of those monsters. I think that they should come into this one because this one's the crazy one. Like, we're expecting the next Monster Hunter to dial things back a little bit, right? So it makes sense that any more Frontier stuff would be coming for Sunbreak.
I'm going to say something crazy.
Go for it.
It'll never happen, probably. But if Sunbreak sells really well, I would love to see them do a second DLC expansion. Monster Hunter Rise? Just like Sunbreak, have another expansion with another town with more monsters, 2 years from now. But like massively, like maybe we go to the actual place where Frontier took place. Maybe they call it Monster Hunter Rise A New Frontier or something like that.
If they do that, I kind of feel like they would need to
make its own game.
They would need to bring it to consoles as well. The other consoles, because like it's at this point it's just unfair. Like if they're gonna do another expansion, I feel like it would have to come to PS4.
You're right. It wouldn't be an expansion,
stuff.
But okay. So, I hope the next mobile game. I hope it gets some of these crazy boys because I remember playing I remember playing like the Chinese one that Tencent made,
Monster Hunter Online.
And I know that Capcom worked with them just with the monster models and stuff. And I remember there being like scorpions and all sorts of really cool things that have been in Frontier but are not in the main series. And I welcome it. I think I
want more insects and more crabby boys and more non-wyvern things. I think that'd be cool for sure.
Yes.
But Espinas.
But I will say I've never fought an Espinas, so I'm excited.
Me neither.
The fact that I've never played Frontier, so I've never fought it, which means I don't know what to expect. And
I think that
I love that.
Considering the amount of like things you'd have, what do you call them? Hurdles you have to go through, hoops. You got whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The amount of hoops you have to jump through in order to be able to get to Frontier. I think this is going to be.
Yeah, it's shut down.
It's shut down now. But I mean, even back when it was running, the amount of hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah, VPNs.
You need to go through VPNs and get an address in Asia, and didn't you need even a social security number or something like that? There's a lot of stuff that you had to do, and I think that a lot of people just ended up never really playing it. So this is going to be the first time that a lot of people fight Espinas, which I think is really, really important. It's cool to bring some more of that stuff that that team has worked on and they were passionate about for more people to check out. But so Espinas, both of us are super pumped about it. Then they showed Daymio Hermitaur, which I mean we knew about Shogun, we didn't know about Daymio, but it's cool to see that Daimyo is coming back as well. There's like a little back hop attack.
That mount attack, he was mounting and he does the act of something like I'm gonna shove my butt at you because his butt is like the horn of a I didn't get a big shot of it. Monoblos.
Yeah.
I really want Monoblos in this, but I don't think they'll do it because you have to fight it alone. That's the lore of Monster Hunter. It's a trial for hunters to take it down alone because you're mimicking the accomplishments of the one of the original hunters, right? The chief of Kokoto Village. So they can't do. I mean, unless they brought it back as a special arena challenge, like one player only, and there's a Monoblos, that would be sweet.
Hey, I'll take whatever I can get, man. When it comes to that
want
stuff.
that. I love. That was my boy in stories too.
Yeah, I remember.
White Monoblos is my boy. I love him.
It was Monoblos, and it was what's called Apex, not Apex. Jesus, Bloodbath Diablos.
Stygian. Bloodbath, yeah.
Your Bloodbath Diablos called Truth because truth hurts. That was good. That was a very good one. But
but the crabs are cute. I really like them. They're adorable. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they revamp him in a way to deal with hunters flying all over the place because, he doesn't have a lot of verticality to him, but I'm sure he's going to be shoving up those big hands and stuff and doing some. We should probably see some new moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I expect to see some.
But I want to ride him. I want to see like the walking animation. It's gonna be so cute.
I wonder if when he walks. No, he has to walk like forward. But wouldn't it be cool if he just like walked sideways?
Oh, the Shogun one. Yeah.
No, the Daimyo. If you just like if you walked sideways when you mount him, if you were just like a crab. But I don't think it does because of the way that she attacks and the way that she moves in the trailer. I don't think he moves sideways, but it would be fun. But yeah. Daimyo coming back is really cool as well. Then the next thing that shows up is Astalos dunking on your boy, completely and absolutely decimating him like he deserves. You see the place that Mizu takes in the food chain? It's pretty low.
Yeah.
As Astalos just demolishes him.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
you
weak
saw
it's weak against Thunder.
Is that the excuse? Is he's weak against Thunder?
No, well, you know. Well, I have a theory that I believe, which is, and we'll get to it later. But they have an image where they said one of the things they're going to do differently this time is they're going to talk about future updates earlier than normal. They're not going to tease it out because they realize no one was happy about it and people would get overhyped or confused. So they're just going to be a little bit more transparent about it. I'm still sour about the Fatalis and Stories 2. That was bad. But like they have a clear silhouette of two monsters. Now one of them I actually
we can't get into that. We can't get into that yet, Gaijin. We're not.
Okay, I'll just say this. Okay. Mizutsune is going to get its revenge on Astalos, okay? It may not be the original species, but I think we're going to get a nice cutscene of Astalos getting its ass kicked.
But did you see that turf war, though?
Oh, yeah, it was cool.
How did it feel? How did it feel to see your boy crushed like a bug?
No. What I wanted to do is I wanted to slow it down because he gets on top of him, right? Like,
and they roll around.
Yeah, I was going to slow it down and put like the Careless
romantic
Whisper saxophone. You know? Never going to dance again.
What
would you say? What would you say? Like Thunder Blight, I've got no rhythm.
Thunder Blight. I'm so sorry about my coughing, guys, but it's like I'm still working through it. But
demons.
Yeah. So Astalos and Mizuturf War is really cool. I'm hoping we see more turf wars, which is something that we didn't see a whole lot in Rise, I feel like, right? Like Rise was very light when it came to turf wars.
Yeah, like they always ran into each other and they smacked each other and they created a mounted situation, but not like turf wars, no.
I mean,
they're already in the
there are some, but it's interesting because it's almost like they didn't always trigger, right? So, for instance, we even see one of the turf wars in one of the first Rise trailers, which was the Pteranodon versus Urzuros, where he just straight up tries to eat Urzuros.
I've never seen that in the game.
I've seen it in the game a couple of times. There's one that usually always triggers, which is Malzeno against any flying wyvern. Not Malzeno, Magnamalo. Magnamalo against any flying wyvern usually triggers, and he just like flies in the air and then dunks it.
Yeah.
Particularly Elder Dragons does that a lot. But besides that, you'll see a couple of more, but they're very, very rare. So, yeah. So then we also have Pyre Rakna-Kadaki, which was confirmed in this trailer that it is going to be a blast variant or subspecies or whatever.
I love it because think about it. She's got all those little babies. She can now lob in them like grenades. It's hilarious. It's going to be so cool.
It was interesting to see the design philosophy that they had for that, which is like she shoots out those webs and then she shoots fireballs that go through the webs. The fireballs ride the webs. That is really cool. And I'm hoping that she becomes a little bit more challenging because let's face it, I mean, the original Rakna-Kadaki was just one big walking bad hit zone. But
my guess is that
still a punching
this is going to be like the maze monster. Like the whole arena is going to be so chaotic that you'll use your wire bug to try to navigate it. Is my guess. I hope they go crazy with it.
Yeah. But that was another monster that was announced. Then we had the return of environmental traps, which even though we had some, I kind of feel like in Rise, the only ones we really had environmental traps were like the ones in lava caverns. Was there anything else? I don't remember anything else. There might be one or two more things.
I think there was a few things, but it was never like a really big deal. And it was just like one of those like cool little things that you could do. But like to have it like right there in front of everyone's face is kind of rare.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
we had like the little crabs or something on the wall in the desert, or like knocking them into the xanthines.
There was the quicksand things, and those didn't work for like Elder Dragons and whatnot. And it was those little crabs that shot things off of the walls. Yeah, those were a thing. But it was so minor that you'd rarely even like pay attention to it. Yeah. And the rocks coming back kind of opens up the door to potentially more types of traps like that being a thing, which I'm very curious to see what else. Because that was always really fun in World, just like, oh, he's at the rocks and dropped rocks and there were a lot of people in my stream saying, oh, was that a slinger shot? I think a lot of people don't even know that you can just throw kunai You can just throw kunai whenever you want. They're infinite.
What's really funny is there was a tweet going around just the other day. I think it was from a Japanese person, if I'm not mistaken. My memory is a little fuzzy right now, but like saying, like I just found out today that the Apex Rathian, all you have to do is throw 2 kunai to blow up those little poison crystals on the ground, and like you just throw your kunai and boom, they're gone.
I didn't even know you could do that, and I actually found when I was doing the longsword video, I found that if you try detonating a blast toad, it will actually explode if it gets triggered by the little purple things that she drops. Because I was trying to blast toad her, and I dropped the blast toad on top of the thing, and it just blew up and it fizzled away. And I was like, wait, what the hell? Where's my blast toad? I want to get some blast. And I still did a really good time, I felt like, in that run. But yeah.
But the kunais aim really well, and they're very easy to use. So I'm happy if there's more uses for them.
Yeah, I agree. So then we have a little bit of more detail on the follower quests, where they show that there's going to be at least a follower quest where we'll be able to play with Fugen and Gallios. And I'm also not sure if this was in the website previously or not, but I think they might have updated the description of the follower collab quests, because now they're saying that there's 2 types of quests. So there's the follower quests, which, it just says they're powerful allies. They hunt alongside you during a quest, and you complete them and you deepen your bonds, which is like whatever relationship type mechanic you're going to be having, eventually allowing you to call upon them for help in support surveys. And then there's a different type of quest called support surveys, which it basically says that it lets you choose from all the followers that you've unlocked so far to accompany you on a quest. Each follower has a limited selection of weapons, so that's why we see you see Dame Furain using Charge Blade at one point in one of the trailers. And each follower has their own preferred weapons and unique style. Understanding their individual skills is key to success. Whatever. Listen, the individual skills is if they can equip a gun lance, they're getting a gun lance, and it's that simple, because that's the best weapon.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at. I haven't read the English website, but I am looking at the Japanese one right now, and it says, the base is the. I hate the word collab quest. I really hate it.
I'm is weird.
Call them or follower quest. I mean, yeah, the NPC quest that you go on with them, like those. That's the base, and then as you do them, then you sort of like build up like a bond with that character, and that's what unlocks the ability for them to then. You could take them out on a little bit more wider range of investigations, where you can then customize to say, okay, I want you to use this weapon, or I want you to use this one. It's not all of them. It does say that there's a few weapons they can use. They can't use all of them, like every character, but each character will have, because there's so many switch skills, right, and ways to play each weapon that every character is going to have their take. Like you'll get the Charge Blade guy who's always probably doing, explosive big moves, and you'll have the Charge guy who's always doing the cookie cutter, I imagine. And
you think the AI is going to be that diverse?
Yeah. I mean, they're saying here on the website that each character has weapons. They are they play them differently. They have strengths and weaknesses that you can do with the weapons. So understanding the differences between that character and the weapon that you're going to give them is going to be interesting. So yeah, it sounds fun. I mean, the question just remains, until we play it, is this as fun as it is on paper? It looks fun, and they have lots of voice dialogue, so it could be very fun, but, replacing the human experience with NPCs is a tough act. So
I mean,
we'll see how it goes, but
I think it'll be good for people.
There's a reward at the end, though.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for people that that usually don't play multiplayer. I think it'll be good for them to try out and see what it's like to play with another hunter. Even if it's an NPC, it's still better than nothing, right? It gives them at least a little bit of a taste of what the multiplayer experience is like, which I think is cool. Because
I'll be honest, I'm going to focus on it. I really want to get all the characters to max, and I want to see what you get. I hope it's more than just a title. I hope they give you their outfit or something that tells people that Rurikhan, man, he loves that, what's his name?
Master Arlo?
Yeah, like if you're walking around with Arlo gear, they're gonna be like, "Man, he maxed that dude out."
Oh yeah, you better believe it. The second I get Master Arlo quests, it's like
we're BFFs. What are you talking about?
That's all we're doing. It's just like Master Arlo all the way. Me and my boy.
Have you done? We gotta get someone to make a meme picture of you, like shaking hands with him and saying like relationship with Randine over. Arlo is my new best friend.
It's like just me with my arm around Arlo and stuff, just like hanging out like bros, each with a gun lance. So like my arm around him, and then on the other hand, there's a gun lance, and he has his gun lance on the other hand as well. It's like a really cool picture pose and stuff. Yeah, for sure, dude. Me and Master Arlo kicking it.
But I'm sorry, I'm not taking anybody out for a trip until I finish Minoto and Forlane. Like those two are going to be
Minoto and Fury.
I'm going to max them out unless it requires me to do something to unlock one of their quests. Until then, I'm not touching any other NPCs. I have my loyalty.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Deal with it.
After this, it was, to me, one of the biggest moments of the presentation, hands down. You see our boy Gosarag trying to bully a boggy, and in comes Gore Magala, and me with my throat completely shot, voice box shredded, and I just start screaming, Gore! Gore! Friggin' Gore Magala comes out of nowhere and is like, oh man. You were suspecting that they were going to make him like a DLC monster. It's like, nope, just part of the base roster. Yeah. There he is. And it makes me wonder, how are we handling the frenzy mechanic? Are they going to be frenzied monsters? And the community is actually a little bit divided on this because there are people that agree with me. It's like, dude, if Gore Magala comes back, we need to have frenzied monsters as well, just like we've had in 4U. And then there's the other half of the community that's going like, no, this is Malzeno's game. It needs to be Malzeno's mechanics.
We just had him in what?
Generations
Ultimate. And Generations Ultimate, and they didn't do that. So like,
but I want them to do it now.
I don't see why there's every monster is gonna. The flagships have their own little status. You got Seregios gets his bleeding, Malzeno gets its blood thing, he gets his frenzy. They're not gonna take one monster and apply it to a wide range. No way they wouldn't do that. That would make no sense from a positioning standpoint, right? Like it's not Gore's game.
I don't know, but Gore is cool, man. I missed Gore. It was really nice seeing him. He looks so good. Yeah, dude.
Did you see like the back end of his wings are like they're shadowy and stuff? I mean, and this also marks the first time we're going to have a monster from the movie in the game.
I mean, we've had Rathalos in all the video games. I don't know what you're talking about.
The Monster Hunter movie collaboration monster, Gore Magala, featured in the highly appraised Anderson film Monster Hunter.
Featured in like the last 10 seconds, I heard. But yeah, I don't know about that.
Get out of my head. I wish I could scrub my memory of that. But no, I'm super excited. I thought the reveal was perfect.
Yeah.
It does, of course, beg the question, is Shaggy going to be in the game from the beginning, or is that going to be a DLC monster? I think it would make sense to have it as one of the, like, I want to call them freebies, but, like, they say they're going to have multiple monsters in some of the updates. It would make sense to hold Shaggy off for one of those.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think he should be one of the free title updates, most likely, for sure.
But damn, does he look good. Like, that's hype.
We're about to get to the free title updates, but before that, it's important to mention to everybody, this is something that they mentioned in the presentation as well, which is regardless if you're buying Sunbreak, you're going to need to have 13 gigs of free space because they're going to be updating base Rise. Like I mentioned in previous videos, like I think that this is because they're going to allow you to cross-play kind of like what they did with Iceborne. So even if you have a friend that bought Iceborne and you yourself hadn't bought Iceborne, you could still cross-play. But in order to do that, they need to patch the original game to include the assets of the new game and all of that stuff. So even though you don't have access to like new Switch skills and stuff like that, you can still play with your friends in the old quests and you can see what the new Switch skills look like and what the new armors look like and all of that, which I think is important to kind of maintain that type of backwards compatibility with the previous game in multiplayer. So that's cool. But do keep in mind, particularly on Switch, where the space is usually a little bit tighter, you're going to need 13 gigs of free space to patch the game once Sunbreak comes out.
Once again, I mean, the message I think here is Capcom and some other companies, but especially Capcom, are doing such good work when it comes to data compression that they have to be commended for this. I mean, as we've joked about on the podcast, there are Western publishers that are like, we don't need to compress anything. And it's like 100, 200 gigabit games and stuff like come on, get out of here.
Yeah, look at
good on them.
Warzone just takes up your whole goddamn hard drive. It's like 200, 300 gigs, some ridiculous nonsense like that. I mean, it gets pretty freaking wild with a lot of those games. Now, besides that, there's another message talked about, which is in order for you to access Sunbreak features, you need to complete 7-star hub quest Serpent Goddess of Thunder. So I think this means in order for you to get into Sunbreak, into the actual story of Sunbreak, you need to complete this quest, which is weird because you don't have to kill All Mother. Which is kind of weird because the All Mother is the actual finish of the Rise story. So you don't have to finish the Rise story. You don't have to solve the Rampage before you jump into Elgato and start solving another problem. But so weird. I also think it means that, things like switch skill swapping and new switch skills, I don't think you're going to have access to those before you finish that quest. Not sure, but that's the vibe that I got. So it's not going to be like Iceborne, where if you just bought Iceborne, here's the Clutch Claw. You can now tenderize and blow up these monsters that were not ready to handle the Clutch Claw. I don't think that that's what they want, even though Rise is a pretty easy game to begin with, but I kind of feel like that's the vibe for that particular sentence there.
Yeah, so, I mean, good. The good news is, I guess, for people who are, buying the game on PC this time and saying, you know what, it sucks that we don't have cross save, but I'm just going to start over because I got a PC that can run it.
Yeah.
It means they can get into that juicy content faster. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. We'll have to see how it works narratively and how it makes sense. It's a little weird, but
yeah,
and better than the opposite end.
And then they talked a little bit about free title updates, which I kind of feel like this was another bombshell. And I kind of feel like you called this out in the previous podcast. I was either in the podcast or you told me after the podcast.
Podcast.
You were calling out that, because we had it was something about us having the Chameleos on there. You're like, they're probably going to bring Lucent Nargacuga. There's no way they don't bring Lucent Nargacuga.
They don't make that technology just to have one invisible monster. Nah. You knew that they were going to do it.
So title update number one is Lucent Nargacuga, Forlorn Arena, and more monsters.
I was not expecting it to get announced like that, and that is hype.
Yeah,
to have it back.
I kind of feel like it was the 3 bombshell moments of the presentation, right? It's like you got
Gore,
Gore, and Lucent. It's like boom, boom, boom. Here you go.
It's perfect. I don't know how you do it much better than that.
I've had a lot of people comment that I wasn't a big fan of Rise, but I have to play Sunbreak. Which I was surprised by, because a lot of people were like, Rise, but a lot of people are coming around for Sunbreak after what they saw in the showcase, because Capcom really delivered the goods in that showcase, at least from my opinion.
Yeah, and we discussed, they had to, as we were saying, they had to have Gore Magala in this game, especially if you're going to get, people love that monster too much to not have it in, and they've been asking for it. And they know, especially in the West, where people got exposed to Monster Hunter a lot through the 4th generation. I thought that they would chicken out and they would make it a DLC 1 monster as a way to get people in the door and then looking forward to it and keep the hype going. But nah, man, they're just including it and it looks great. That surprised me. I'm not surprised that it's in the game, but I think, they were going to announce it one way or the other. This was the best way to do it.
Yeah. So maybe you can tell us what it says on the Japanese version of the website after the Lucent Nargacuga thing, because in here they say we're planning multiple free post-title release updates and whatnot. But sometimes some of this stuff gets weird, particularly when they start talking about. And here it gets even weirder, because on the actual poster they say rare species and special species, but then in the text they say rare species and variants, and I'm just like. You guys got to get your stuff together with this localization, man. This is not this is weird. These are some weird nomenclatures that you're trying to use here. Make up your mind. Is it variants? Is it special versions? What do we got after that Nargacuga? Tell us.
Yeah, so I mean, they have Nargacuga. We've got the Forlorn Tower, which is. Do you want? I don't know if you want to talk about.
No, I was talking about the text. The text immediately below the Nargacuga render.
Oh, okay. So it says, rare species, which would be stuff like the gold and silver Rathian, Rathalos, and molten
No. You're still not getting me, Gaijin.
Oh, the second one.
Further up, right below.
Up?
No, up at the very top, right below the Nargacuga image. There's text.
Oh,
right?
the big Nargacuga. Yeah.
Yeah, there's text there. What does it say there?
Oh, okay.
That's what I want to hear first.
じゃあ、モンスターハンターライズサンブレイクでは発売後も無料タイトルアップデートに複数回実施していく
I
予
feel
定。
like I'm watching an anime. That's perfect.
No,
I was like, oh,
no, it says
I'm watching an anime now.
yeah, it says one after Sunbreak goes on sale, we have several free title updates planned. For the first one, on top of having Lucent Nargacuga, which of course in Japanese is called Rare Species Nargacuga, which we talked about on the channel before.
Oh yeah, the rare species.
We don't subspecies and subspecies. They give descriptive names. For subspecies in the West, they use mainly colors, and for the rare ones, they use more descriptive, like adjectives, like molten or lucent stuff. But the Japanese just says rare species or subspecies. They don't. They already have nicknames in kanji, so they don't use them in the name. Anyway, so on included Lucent Nargacuga, but technically it says rare species Nargacuga. There'll be a new field called and I guess we just call it the Forlorn Tower.
Forlorn Arena.
And we on. Oh, so sorry. So this is why you can't translate Japanese as you read it, because in Japanese the second half of the sentence is really important. Grammatically, it's different. So sorry. It says that we have planned updates. After the first update, which will have Lucent Nargacuga, we have other updates planned, which will include like the new Forlorn area, rare species monsters, and special variants. So I think what you wanted to know is it special species or whatever? It's special variants. That includes, because there's always a debate on what variant means, but Tokushu Kotai means a variant, and that could be anything from
so
a
that's
deviant,
the special species.
Special species, I think, is wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the way to say it.
Then I'm just saying variant is what they've translated as special species.
Yeah.
And subspecies is what they've translated as rare species then.
What? Hang on, I got to see this in English.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's weird. It's like, just look at the actual poster and you'll see, like, on Nargacuga there's rare species and then special species. I'm assuming that rare means sub and special means variants.
Wait,
maybe.
Hang on. I gotta see this. Hang on. English website. No, I don't want Japanese. Give me the English. Wow, that's whoever's doing the website needs to update that. Let's see here. It says in Title 1, we're planning the additions of the monster Lucent Nargacuga, the Forlorn Arena locale, and other rare species and variants.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about, look at the actual like calendar.
Special species. What?
Yeah, dude. Like look at the actual poster below, and see like the text that they have next to Nargacuga. There, rare species and special species monsters. It's basically subs and variants. That's I'm assuming what it is.
No. It's rare species and variants.
Okay.
They're going to have other rare species with Lucent Nargacuga. They're not just going to use the Forlorn Arena for him only, which basically means it's probably silver and gold.
But aren't rare species the same thing as like subspecies? No, I'm confused.
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. So they're different. So we'll just, ignoring their website and the way that they're put it, we'll just talk about this in general. So there's species, which is the monsters. You've got subspecies, which are ones that have adapted to different habitats, right? So they're born
like
different.
Fulgur,
right?
Fulgur,
Fulgur Anjanath or Green Nargacuga. And there's a fun distinction that they say in the official books here, which is we actually don't know which one is the subspecies and which one is the base species, because they're just named that in order in which the guild has found them, right? Like they may have spotted Nargacuga and then found a green Nargacuga and called it, oh, that's a green Nargacuga subspecies. But maybe it's just that they happen to run into, the black
wrong one
first.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually don't know. It's just they've come out and said that the guild knows this and they don't care. It's just a way for them to distinguish. And there's also special cases where the guild just makes the wrong assumption, like with the case with Black Diablos, where the guild is like, we thought it was a different species of Diablos. Turns out it was just a Diablos in heat. But hey, they didn't know that, so they called it a subspecies, and that's how it stuck. It's more just a guild classification name, but it's generally reserved for monsters that were born in different conditions and have different elements or whatever not, right? Then you've got variants, and or I'll say rare species, right? So rare species, there's only a handful. There's the gold Rathian, there's silver Rathalos, Lucent Nargacuga, Molten Tigrex. Who else do we have? Who else do we have?
Is Orochi Kirin a subspecies or a variant?
No, that's a subspecies.
Subspecies, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's ice instead of thunder. It's a different element. My mind's blanking, but there's not a lot of rare species in the game. It's rare. And those are like the special ones. They generally take place in the tower as special fights and stuff like that. And they're just obviously super duper rare and super powerful. The area that gets confusing is when we start talking about variants. Because variants, there's a few different types. So variant can be anything from like the scarred young Garuga and the regular young Garuga, where it's just something, they were born the same, but something situational happened that causes one to be classified differently. Like the deviants are all like this. Like, like a Diablos that had been injured and lost a horn or whatever, and it grew up enraged and had a vendetta against hunters, and one of its horns was lopsided. Like, that's a deviant because they don't have babies that are also like that. They're still the same species. It's just they have circumstances that have made them different. There was stuff like the Furious Rajang. It's just a Rajang that has an anger management problem, so he's always buffed up and he's more powerful than usual. The Savage Devil Joe, that's not a subspecies. It's a Devil Joe, but it's a pretty pissed off one. It's always been, it runs a little bit differently because he's got a temperamental problem. Let's see, what other...
Seething Basil Goose, then, I would assume, as well.
That's a subspecies.
Yeah. No, is not a variant?
No, wait, no, I'm wrong. It's a variant. You're right.
Yeah, it's because it's the same thing.
You're right.
According to your
I
description,
apologize.
Seething Basil Goose
I apologize. You're right. I'm sorry. So it gets a little blurry, but what they're saying here in the Japanese, clear as day.
So it's rares and
August,
variants.
It says there is going to be Nargacuga and other monsters being added.
Yeah.
And all they put on the thing here is they say rare species monster. We don't know if it's plural or not. It's Japanese is like that. We just don't know. So rare species monsters.
In English, they put plural.
Variant monsters. And then new field forlorn area tower.
Forlorn
so we don't know
how
how many it means. We just know that maybe Nargacuga is the only rare one. I don't know. Maybe there's 2. Maybe there's 3. I imagine there's.
I think there needs to be more than one because they specifically say Nargacuga and a couple more
rare species and variants. But variants could be anything from like Savile Devil Joe or something like that coming into the game. Heck, I would love to see Seething Battle Geese in here. That'd be nice.
Yes. Seething Basil Goose, baby, bring it. Let's go.
For the fall update, the second big drop, which will be in the fall, then they say the focus for that one is going to be a rare species monster and a subspecies monster.
So wait, they say singular in Japanese?
Well, that's why I said we don't have a distinction.
Yeah, we don't know.
Singular and plural. So
in English, it's plural. Yeah.
Now, what is interesting is if you look at the image, they're actually giving us a silhouette. So they're teasing who they is.
Two silhouettes.
And yes, and I'm taking back what I put on Twitter. I'm not the type of person who goes and deletes my tweets. Yeah, I totally take it back because I thought, this must be talking about Silver Rathalos because it looks very much like Silver Rathalos' post.
I saw your image, and that's what I told people. I was Gaijin said it looks like silver or gold or something.
But however, the thing that threw me off, but I ran with it anyways, was the fact that the screen right wing, you don't actually see the wing going below, but with the way that Silver Rathalos opens up like that is he would have his wing downward. He wouldn't have it back like that. So I thought it was just like a lazy shadowing thing. I didn't think too much about it because I don't know of Espinas. I'm not familiar with the monster. And someone brought to my attention, and I tweeted this one out as well.
Espinas.
There is a rare species for Espinas, which is white, which has this exact silhouette for its roar. It puts its wings up like this without the wing part going down. It looks identical, and I think there's a very high probability chance that that's what it is.
Okay.
And I don't know. Someone said like maybe it's Rusted Kushala, but that's a variant, and they very specifically say here that it's going to be a rare species monster and a subspecies monster. So, and then people are like Molten Tigrex. I'm like, did you not see the silhouette? That's not a Molten Tigrex.
That's not a Molten Tigrex. Yeah. I was thinking it could potentially. Initially, when I looked at it, I was like, that could be a Monobos because it's got like that crown thing to it. but I don't know if he's got like an animation where he can be like that.
But that's the thing. The Espinas has the big horn, just like a Monoblos, right? And it's got the wings.
It could be a white Espinas.
I think the white Espinas is probably a really good probability.
And then the other one is definitely
the bottom right
a
has to
Mizutsune.
be.
It's a
that's
Mizutsune.
definitely. I mean, the silhouette is absolutely identical to the ear fin for it. So that tells me we're going to get a subset, which we talked about as well. That Glavenus got to be sort of like the representative of the generations when it came to World Iceborne, and it got its introduction of the subspecies. So it only makes sense that Mizutsune being the rep for this one.
You got the introduction of the bad version of Glavenus, which is the acidic Glavenus, which, come on, man. That was bad. Not only was bad, he was also a big pussy. He just ran from everything. He's like anything. Oh my God, there's a monster here. I think I'll run. I saw him get beat up by a friggin' Great Gyros of all things. Come on, man. Great Gyros beaten up an acidic Glavenus. It was a sore sight, dude. It was not.
Yeah. And so I don't know what the English says, but under there, they give a list here. They say rare species monsters, subspecies monsters, and superpowered variants.
Yeah,
or not
monsters.
variants, but stuff like, like we had like the Super Brachy or Super Rajan. Looks like a really hard-ass fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a super hard fight.
So the idea is by fall, you want to have your min-max sets ready because Capcom's going to come in to push the envelope a little bit higher.
Yeah. And then in the winter for the third, it says there's going to be various monsters. So several, it says. And then underneath, it says for what category type. They said they're going to have special variants and superpowered monsters.
Yeah. Okay.
And then 2023, it'll still be going on. So that's great. That's exciting.
I mean, I think it looks like from this, you're getting one update per season. So I would assume that 2023, you'd get, again, spring, summer, fall, and winter. So like another 4 big updates, maybe. Yep. That's what I would expect.
1 year of support. That's what they usually do.
Yeah. And then at that point, they will have hopefully announced what the next Monster Hunter project is.
No, not by then. Think about it. As we said, if it comes in early spring around March, April-ish area for that update, that's right before June, which is E3 kind of quote unquote E3 month. That's when they're probably going to announce Monster Hunter 6.
Yep, that would make sense. They're gonna
makes perfect sense.
They're gonna show. Wait, did Jeff Keighley ever get like a Capcom thing? I think he got Street Fighter this time. I think they showed some Street Fighter 6 this time on Summer Game Fest. So next year they might just show up on Jeff Keighley's show and be like, "Hey, here's Monster Hunter 6," and then they do their own direct afterwards with more detail and stuff like that. Just to grab the people that are watching the big. Like more corporate showcase, and then bring them over to the Capcom developer live letter type of environment, which I think that would be really, really smart. Yeah, that actually lines up very nicely. I don't remember if that lines up with the dates that we were predicting as to when they were going to announce it or not, but I think it might.
I think it does. I mean,
I need to double check on it, but yeah, that's good. And
very good. So the Forlorn Tower, do you want to talk about that at all or no?
Yes. Tell me more.
I mean, so like there's 3 towers in Monster Hunter, so it gets really confusing.
One of them is like for Frontier, right? Where you just keep climbing up or something, and it had like multiple monsters you'd fight along the way.
I don't think that's called a tower. I know there's something like that, but I don't think it's specifically called a tower. What was that one called?
I mean, I know of the Ruined Pinnacle. I'm not sure if you consider that a tower. The thing at the very top where you fight like Volstrax.
No. Okay. No, that's part of a map.
Yeah, that's just part of Ruined Pinnacle.
When we say Forlorn, what we're talking about is technically, if you go on the wiki, it'd be like Tower 3. But this is the 3rd tower, so this is one that was in the 3rd generation, where we fought Lucent Nargacuga the first time, the only time we ever fought it. So if you remember, there's 2 sort of towers that look very similar. There's Tower 2. I mean, there's the one tower, obviously, with Yamatsukami, which we're not going back there. Then there's that tower map where we fought. You remember, like, the best way to remind you about this is Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. We had that quest where we fought the 4 flagship monsters in one map.
Yeah, that's the same thing that people told me. I don't remember what that map is. It's been so long that I don't remember what that map. I remember the map where I fought a Matsu, but I don't think that's the same thing.
No,
Yeah.
that's different. Yeah. So anyway, the towers are very similar, but this tower is specific. It's just a little bit wider. It didn't have like the areas to jump up on. But this is where we fought Lucent Nargacuga. This is the one where I did all my tutorial videos, I believe.
Is that the Wheel of Time or whatever the hell? Because I remember you doing stuff on that one.
Like
I
would
something the wheel
where you
that was
fall
like
into
for
it. Like
you.
you're up on the top, yeah, and then you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because it was renamed. It was weird. It had a name in third generation. Then in generations it was called the Forlorn Area, and I don't know. It's the tower. We'll just put it that way. But this is the one that has like those stretching pillars in the distance. It feels a little bit more, I don't know, fleshed out than just like cloudy tower. It's not important, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, that tower coming back is good. The towers are usually the area where we fight rare species, so I'm not giving up on my hope that we're gonna get Molten Tigrex. The dream is still alive. That being said, I don't see rare species for it listed here. So I don't know. Maybe that's 2023. We'll get a Molten Tigrex.
And I'm expecting very much like you. I'm also expecting us to get Shigaru as DLC. I don't think he'll be in the base game. He might be, but I think it would make more sense again, particularly if, like you and a lot of people are predicting that they're not going to fully flesh him out with the frenzy mechanic for other monsters and stuff like that. If that's not happening, then I think it would make more sense for Shigaru to be the DLC.
Yeah. I almost want to say that it feels like the right monster for winter update. I don't think it would be like 2 months later coming with Lucent. Maybe it would. I don't know.
Yeah, I think whatever update it gets though, it should be like his update. Like this is the Shigaru update, and like check out kind of like we had. Oh, this is the Volstrax update kind of.
Yeah.
You get big Volstrax coming in. So I think that would make sense, and I think that's cool. I kind of feel like a lot of people are concerned over Monster Hunter kind of losing its identity a little bit with Rise, which I think it makes sense, particularly with the weapons and stuff. I think that people are concerned about that, and I think it's a valid concern. But I think that the thing is that is going to be the case moving forward for the portable team, where they're just going to be like, hey, we're going to bring back these old monsters that are going to be harder to put in the big. Big releases of like Monster Hunter 6 and whatnot, the worlds kind of, right? And this is going to remain experimental and crazy and wild, and we're going to bring all of these crazy things back in these. And I think it makes sense because it's two different flavors of Monster Hunter, and that definitely feels like that is what they're shooting for. It's like, that's what you want to go for, that's okay. And one flavor is going to be more for some people. The other flavor is going to be more for other people. But I did find it interesting, again, that this time around, there's people saying like, oh, I didn't really care too much about Rise, but Sunbreak, man, it's got Gore Magala, it's got all of these things, and people are looking to come back to check that stuff out. And, that also puts more into perspective the whole thing about, oh, they only need to complete the 7-star hub quest. They don't have to go all the way to Allmother because clearly there were people that didn't care for it. Maybe Capcom's looking at that. They're like, okay, so there's a significant portion of the community didn't care for this one. So let's just get them into the next one fast without forcing them to go through absolutely everything, and then they can come back and do it later if they want to.
Yeah. I hope they bring back that. I just have all these fond memories of farming the hell out of Lucent Nargacuga for its rare, was it the Moon Stone or whatever it was called?
I have no idea.
Moon Shard because it had a thing where it would crouch. Like Nargo like get into like a stance before it does like a jump at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a very specific one that it did, and it held it for only like 1.5 seconds. And if you threw a shock bomb or whatever you call it, the sonic bomb, right at it during that, you had to really hit it. Like you had to be fast on the draw. If you threw a sonic bomb at him and knocked him over, he would drop an item, and you could do this like 2 or 3 times, and that's how you not easily, but that's how you farmed its rare drop. It was much faster than killing it. As you go in there, you'd catch him on a pounce, and you'd knock him over with because he's got sensitive ears because he's like a cat, right? Like cougar. Yeah. So he falls over, drops a shiny, you pick it up, you do it a few times, didn't get it, you leave. And if you get it, then you have to kill it, because back then you didn't.
There's no return
you didn't get to keep all the.
There's no return from quests. There's only abandoned.
So it was lots of good memories, and I learned a lot about that monster just by doing it, because you just observed it, you know, and it goes completely invisible when it jumps behind you. And so it goes completely invisible. You don't know where it's at. You can't target it anymore. And then you see it right on the tail end of when it falls. It does like a jump behind you. And then, boom, poison scales go on everywhere. So it's going to be absolute mayhem. And anybody who uses a wire fall or a wire bug during that point is going to be in big trouble, because it's more likely that they're going to get hit by a poison thorn if they're trajecting themselves during that move. You need to just pick a spot and commit to it, because it goes out in like a spread. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so good.
So the other final news that came out of this was that the demo is available, which we already talked about a little bit as well. The demo has been available for a while now by the time that this goes out. And it features 4 monsters as well as like 3 different training quests. There's no limit in terms of how many times you can run the demo. The 4 monsters featured are Great Azuchi, the Tronodon, Astalos, and Malzeno. And just like I predicted, Malzeno is a 15-minute quest, very much like Magna Malo. It is extremely harsh. He hits like a goddamn truck. And that's pretty much it. That's all the stuff that came out. How'd you feel about the demo up until this point? Like in the demo, I've played Gunlance, Switch Axe, and Sword and Shield. And I have to say, the Gunlance is interesting. They give us, they give us the Ground Splitter and Bullet Barrage to play with, which was, it was cool to finally see what Bullet Barrage is all about. I'm going to be whiffing it pretty much like Greatsword users whiff True Charge Slashes. That's just going to be a thing. But it is fun, and it is interesting the way that I ended up using it, which is I'll always stick with the Ground Splitter loadout, and then I swap just the Bullet Barrage and swap back to Ground Splitter loadout again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, I don't want to burn myself out, so I'm not going to play the demo that much, but I do want to get a little bit more familiar with the muscle memory required behind
swapping.
I hate this term.
Switch skill swapping.
Scroll swapping. I hate that.
On the Nintendo Switch with your Switch Axe, which I also played. Switch Axe, the counter, brutally satisfying. The Switch Axe counter is
why don't you swap to another
really
weapon?
Cool.
Switch things up,
Yes.
Swap into another weapon.
Swap into another
Nintendo Switch.
I mean, might as well equip 2 weapons. You think eventually the portable team is going to go for that? Just straight up, you carry 2 weapons with you to the field. It's like Gunlance and Sword and Shield. I think that might be a little bit too much. Yeah.
No, I don't see that happening. I mean, but this is the closest damn thing you can get. Like, if there's as many new skills as they seem to be alluding that there's going to be more than just like one extra one for each one. Yeah. There's like several. Then like this is going to be one heck of a game.
In the demo, really I can confirm that you don't have all the skills in the game in the demo, because we don't have Erupting Cannon for the Gunlance, and there were other skills that I was like, oh, this thing is missing. Like there's not the new sword combo for Sword and Shield. I don't think that was there. So yeah, there's a lot of skills that aren't in the demo, which is good.
Yeah, and this feels like the evolved version, and I would almost say the final version. Like it feels like it's fleshed out enough now that the concept they had for Generations and Generations Ultimate, which was finding your own way to play each weapon, your own style, was their theme. And I think now that they have it where it's like, well, you don't just have to find your own style and commit to it. Now you can adaptive style. You can have different ways to play it and change it up on the fly if you want. Like that with the amount of free traversal you can do now, like it just feels like this is like, okay, we gave you the full tool set. Like go create. I cannot wait to see what the speedrunners do with this stuff, and I really hope they do. I want them to do Monster Hunter Festa, because if they tweak the loadouts well enough, we could see, because the problem with the Monster Hunter Festa, not a problem. I mean, Festa is amazing, right?
Yeah.
The thing that we sometimes see though is teams taking similar strategies and similar weapons, and like I'm sure it's going to happen because these are speedrunners. Like their job pretty much is to find the most effective way to do something, right? And they're very good at it. Whether or not they without sharing info, they'll come to the same conclusion many times. But with that many variables, I imagine it could be very interesting seeing different approaches to how to take down a monster the fastest.
And I'm just excited about the potential for the different play styles that you're going to be able to do, the different types of builds and stuff like that, because it's going to be so much more varied, I feel like, particularly if it's properly balanced, which they're saying they're going to rebalance a lot of things and whatnot. And I can't really, again, we can't really take the values that we see in the demo for too much, but like considering that I was playing normal and each shell was hitting for like 40, I was like, that's a lot for normal shells. That's quite a bit. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to take anything from the demo when it comes to balancing the numbers, because I know it's just smokes and mirrors. It's just to get everybody feeling good.
And there's no skills in the demo. There's every weapon has the exact same sharpness. It just basically feels like, okay, this is just the value of the weapons that we put in the demo. So we can't really extrapolate too much from those numbers.
Yeah.
But we'll see in the final game. Like, I'm hyped.
But I'll tell you, I'll probably end up making a video. But I'm hyped, but I'm conflicted. I am insanely conflicted, and I don't know what to do.
Conflicted about what?
Time. the most precious currency of all.
The most precious currency of all, indeed.
It is, and I don't know what I'm going to do because, like, for example, I wanted to make a reaction video to that Capcom event because it was amazing, right?
It was.
And I really wanted to do like a recap, just sharing my excitement for it, and just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it because I couldn't find the time. Like, I was having problems where, like, I mean, obviously I work full time, so there's jobs and house. I'm a single father, so there's the responsibilities with the house, getting groceries, cooking dinner, paying taxes, doing all that kind of stuff, right? So like, that's a lot of stuff. And then when you add in the fact that Yuna has been addicted to Final Fantasy 14 just like I, and we've been playing that together, like, if you have a child who's enjoying the same game as you and you're playing a game together, that's priority number one. Even over sleep, even over food. It shouldn't be probably, but it is.
It probably shouldn't be. No, I don't think it's particularly healthy.
Yeah.
You should eat and sleep. It's important.
Yeah.
You're going to end up on migraine town just like me.
Yeah. But you do that for a few hours and it's like, oh, it's 11:30, 12 midnight. And it's like, what?
I wanted to make a video.
It's like, yeah, it's like, how do I... If I want to make a video, that's several hours. Which means, like, that day, I'm not going to play with my second player.
Here's what you got to do. Here's what you got to do. You got to not script your videos. Just stop scripting them, Gaijin. Just like go.
No, I can do that. Yeah, no, that was the idea. But the thing is, I couldn't find the time to even do that because
just
I'm like, freestyle. If I did it, I would be up until 3 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what to do. So I just chose the fact. I'm like, this is. Japan is not the most social country for students, especially middle school. They're just cram schooling and studying all the time. Ugh. So kids aren't going over each other's houses all the time and playing, at least in Tokyo, right?
Especially now with like the
especially
situation,
COVID, yeah. So like, you got a child at home who's just sitting on their butt like nothing fun to do, and unless they are a Netflix junkie, or they love to read books, which neither the case for my child, then it's like, I'm bored. I want to do something. Hey, let's play this.
Yep.
Okay, and then I got in my head, play this, have fun, sleep, make video, see miserable daughter for 3 hours, and then sleep. And it's like, yeah, I think I'm going to choose family time. So and now I'm conflicted because I'm still addicted after 1,700 hours. I am horribly addicted to Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, I've done something really bad. Everybody criticizes me now. They're like, Rurikhan, what have you done? Look at what you did. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't expecting this outcome, especially considering how badly you were going. Like, I don't want it. It's not for me. It's definitely not for me. I'm never going to like an MMO. And I was like, okay, I just want you to try it. Just go have some fun with the story, and then you can call it a day. And then the call it a day part never came along.
Never came. So I don't know how I'm going to juggle the two because I don't want to stop playing either of them.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to stop playing 14, but I want to play the hell out of Sunbreak. They're both insanely exciting.
It's like I was telling you, dude. Like, listen, 14's not going anywhere. Sunbreak's not going anywhere either, but Sunbreak has a, kind of like a shorter lifespan, so to speak. You can put Sunbreak on maintenance reasonably fast. So you just go do Sunbreak and then go back to 14 when you're done with Sunbreak and then come back for the title updates. That's what I do.
Maybe that's what'll happen, but plus today we discovered that our muscle memory is completely destroyed.
Yep.
Because it's kind of interesting that FF14 is like the it's the complete opposite conceptually than Monster Hunter, right? It's very scripted.
Let me tell you, there's so many times that I jump into 14 and the first thing I'll do is hit left trigger and the button. I'm trying to wire bug in 14 every time, and then I'm like, no, wait, different game. Can't do that here. Never mind.
It's a very different way of approaching it. Yeah.
Or pressing like the right bumper to try and run is like, no, that's not how it works here either.
Okay, you know what's funny is we got in there with Malzeno, and the thing Eunice said to me was, am I healer? We all healer. You heal yourself.
Am I healer? She's gonna play corner horner. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Well, she's like, oh yeah, it's different, and it's not scripted. So the monsters are dynamic. They change up what they're gonna do based upon who they're looking at and how far you are and what state they're in. It's just very different, right? And I love it because they can coexist in my life. But if there wasn't the thing of time, I want to make videos. I want to make tutorials because I'm passionate about it. I also want to just play the damn game and have fun. And I also want to play the other game and have fun. And I want to be a good father. So I am conflicted. I will try to figure it out. But, it's going to be a mixed match. There's no one good answer. So I'm conflicted. There's too much damn good stuff. So I don't care what else they release this year. I ain't playing it. I ain't got no time.
I still have to play Xenoblade, man. Xenoblade 3's coming out.
I was looking forward to Slime Rancher 2 is coming out this fall, I think. That's gonna have to wait till next year. Or sometime, I don't know.
Oh man. But anyway.
It's a good issue to have, right? Good problem.
It is. It's good problems. Lots of fun things to do. But guys, we're going to be calling it here. These are pretty much all of the news. And Gaijin needs to get back to being a father.
I need to make dinner.
I need to get back to editing videos and doing all kinds of other stuff as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy. This was a little bit of a shorter Third Fleet podcast, but it was kind of like the Capcom event. It was very direct and straight to the point. Yeah. And if you haven't seen it,
gameplay videos.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. If you haven't seen it, because of the fact that this is shorter, is because we also used a lot of our allotted time for the podcast to record gameplay videos. So you'll see those in Gaijin's channel and in my channel if you haven't found those already. It's us playing the demo on Switch. So thank you all very much.
Different hunts, by the way. It's not the same video they're different hunts that we did. So
watch
them both.
Me using different weapons. I think you also use different weapons. So you get a couple of different weapons playing around and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe.
Happy hunting.